Let me tell you something that will shock you. Money doesn't come to those who chase it blindly. It comes to those who understand the game. The rich have been playing this game for centuries, and they don't want you to know the rules. But today I'm going to break it down for you. Money is one of the most misunderstood forces in the world. People spend their entire lives chasing it, running after it, as if it is the ultimate prize, the final destination of all their struggles. They believe that once they have money, everything will magically fall into place. But here's the truth. Money is not the goal, it is the tool. It is like a hammer. You don't buy a hammer to admire it, you buy it to build something greater. And just like a hammer can build a house or destroy one, money has the same power. The rich understand this deeply. They know that money in itself has no real value unless it is directed toward creating opportunities, building systems, and multiplying impact. Most people waste their energy chasing cash just to spend it on things that make them look successful but keep them poor in the long run. They buy cars they can't afford, gadgets they don't need, and luxuries that fade away in months. The rich don't fall into that trap. They treat money like soldiers, sending it out to fight battles for them, to bring back more soldiers, to expand their influence. When you start seeing money as a tool, your mindset changes completely. Suddenly you stop asking, how much can I make? And you start asking, what can I build? That shift separates those who struggle forever from those who rise above. Think about it. A person who earns thousands but spends it all on appearances will remain stuck, while someone who earns less but uses that money to acquire skills, invest in assets, and create income streams will eventually surpass them. The rich don't get rich because they have better luck. They get rich because they understand that money must be controlled, directed, and multiplied. They don't let emotions dictate how they use it. They don't let money slip through their fingers on impulse. They use money to buy freedom, to buy time, to buy power over their own lives. That is the real secret. When you begin treating money as your servant and not your master, when you stop chasing it blindly and instead put it to work building your vision, that's when everything changes. Everybody wants money. Everybody wants success. Everybody talks about freedom. But wanting is never enough. Desire is weak because it fades the moment comfort shows up. Desire whispers, maybe tomorrow when you're tired. Desire says it's okay to skip today when nobody is watching. That is why discipline beats desire every single time. Discipline is the power that turns intentions into reality. It is the invisible force that makes the difference between the people who dream and the people who actually live their dreams. The rich understand this. They know that while everyone desires wealth, only those with unshakable discipline create it. When the alarm rings early in the morning, desire begs you to stay in bed. Discipline pulls you out and gets you moving. When temptation is screaming for you to waste money on pleasure, discipline reminds you to invest in your future. Discipline is the edge that separates the average from the extraordinary. Think of it like training the body. Everyone desires strength, but only those who show up every day in the gym, no matter how they feel, build it. The same rule applies to money and success. Most people give up because they don't see results fast enough. They plant the seed, but don't water it long enough to see it grow. Discipline is the act of watering the seed daily, even when the ground looks dry, even when nothing seems to change. It is the consistency of action that compounds into massive results over time. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation is temporary. Discipline is permanent. The rich don't rely on feeling good to take action. They build habits, routines, and systems that force them to move forward regardless of how they feel. Discipline is also sacrifice. It's giving up short-term comfort for long-term gain. It's refusing the easy road because you know it leads nowhere. It's grinding when nobody notices, working when nobody applauds, pushing when everyone else quits. The rich understand that without sacrifice, there is no reward. They know that the late nights, the long hours, the relentless effort are what turn invisible dreams into visible reality. Discipline doesn't just create wealth, it creates character. It shapes you into someone who cannot be broken, someone who refuses to quit, someone who can carry the weight of responsibility that comes with real success. And in the end, discipline is not just about controlling your actions, it's about mastering yourself, and the person who has mastered himself is unstoppable. Most people live their whole lives without ever learning the rules of money, and that is why they stay stuck in the same cycle of working, spending, and struggling. The rich understand that money is not just about earning it, but about knowing how it moves, how it grows, and how it multiplies. They treat money like a game with a set of rules, and once you learn those rules, you can play to win. The problem is that schools don't teach you these rules, and society conditions you to believe that working hard for a paycheck is the only way to survive. That's why most people spend their entire lives trapped in jobs they don't love, living paycheck to paycheck, while the rich build systems that make money work for them even while they sleep. The first rule is understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take it out. Most people confuse the two. They buy expensive cars, fancy gadgets, and luxury items, thinking they are building wealth when in reality they are draining their resources. The rich focus on acquiring assets like businesses, real estate, stocks, or intellectual property that generate income. They see money as fuel for investment, not for instant gratification. The second rule is compounding, the simple but powerful principle that turns small, consistent investments into massive wealth over time. The rich let their money grow patiently, knowing that time is their greatest ally. Most people, on the other hand, waste years chasing fast gains and end up losing more than they gain. Another rule is leverage. The rich understand how to use other people's money, time, and skills to create exponential results. They don't try to do everything alone. They build teams, form partnerships, and use systems that multiply their efforts. This is why they scale while others stagnate. And then there is cash flow, the lifeline of financial freedom. The rich focus not on how much money they make, but on how much consistently flows into their lives without their direct effort. They build streams of income that keep running, whether they are working or not. The truth is, if you don't learn these rules, you will always be playing someone else's game, working hard to make them rich, while you remain stuck. The rich don't want you to know this, because the moment you understand how money really works, you stop being controlled by it and start controlling it. Most people go through life trying to avoid risk at all costs. They want certainty, they want safety, they want guarantees, they want to know that if they step forward, nothing will go wrong. But that mindset is exactly what keeps them trapped. The truth is that risk is the price of freedom. You cannot grow without stepping into the unknown, and you cannot build anything great without taking chances that might fail. The rich understand this better than anyone. They know that comfort is the enemy of progress, and so they choose to walk into discomfort again and again. While others sit back waiting for the perfect moment, the rich take action in imperfect situations. They don't wait for the stars to align. They move even when the path is unclear. Think about every empire that has ever been built. It didn't happen because someone played it safe. It happened because someone had the courage to bet on themselves when everyone else doubted them. Risk is not about being reckless. It is about being bold. The difference between failure and success is not that one avoids risk and the other doesn't, but that one learns to manage it, to embrace it, and to use it as fuel for growth. Most people see risk as a wall blocking their way. The rich see it as a doorway leading to new possibilities. Every investment, every business, every innovation involves risk. There is no reward without uncertainty, and the greater the vision, the greater the risk required to achieve it. The truth is, safety is an illusion. You think your job is safe until the company cuts costs and you're replaced. You think your savings are safe until inflation eats away at their value. You think staying in your comfort zone will protect you, but all it does is guarantee that you remain stuck where you are. The rich know that too. Only real security comes from growth, and growth always demands risk. They are more afraid of standing still than they are of falling down, because they understand that every fall is just a lesson that brings them closer to success. Risk is the price you pay to buy your freedom, and those who refuse to pay it remain chained to the lives they secretly wish to escape. Most people are trapped chasing luxuries, believing that wealth is defined by the things they can show off. They buy expensive clothes, the latest phones, flashy cars, and houses far bigger than they need just to prove to the world that they've made it. But the truth is, all of these things fade. Cars lose value, clothes go out of style, gadgets become outdated within months. The rich know this, and that's why they don't measure their wealth by what they can spend, but by what they can build and pass on. They think in decades, not in days. They focus on creating legacies, not luxuries. A watch may shine for a few years, but a business that generates income will shine for generations. A mansion may look impressive, but land, property, or intellectual property can feed your children and grandchildren long after you are gone. The secret the rich hold close is that real wealth is not about looking rich, it's about staying rich. They resist the temptation of showing off and instead put their energy into assets that grow, systems that sustain, and foundations that last. They understand that a true symbol of wealth is freedom. The freedom to choose how to spend your time, the freedom to provide opportunities for your family, the freedom to give back and make an impact on the world. This is why they invest in things that keep producing value long after the initial effort has been made. They build brands, they acquire property, they create systems, and they make decisions that outlive their own lifetimes. When you start thinking in terms of legacy, your priorities change. You stop asking, "What can I buy today?" and instead ask, "What can I build that will last?" You stop seeking applause from people who don't care and start focusing on creating something that will continue to speak when you are no longer here. The rich know that true fulfillment doesn't come from showing off wealth, but from knowing that their work, their investments, and their vision will impact lives beyond their own. Luxury is temporary, legacy is permanent. And while most people waste their energy on temporary pleasures, those who choose to focus on legacy create a foundation of power, freedom, and influence that cannot be taken away. So now you know the secret. Money isn't magic, it isn't luck. It's a game of discipline, knowledge, risk, and vision. And the truth is, you don't need permission to play. The rich don't want you to know this because once you understand, they lose their advantage. So stand up, take control, and start using money as your tool, not your master. The world doesn't need more dreamers, it needs doers. And if you're ready to do, nothing can stop you.